Hello, I'm Justin, and I'm a presenter on Do Not Scratch Your Eyes.
Hello, I'm Peter, and I'm a presenter on Do Not Scratch Your Eyes.
Hello, I'm Carl, and I'm a presenter on Do Not Scratch Your Eyes.
There you go. That's us. Anyway, the month of October as a Watford fan. Now, I started this month abroad. It seems like a very long time. I'll tell you what, it's been a long month, isn't it?
Some might say that was the best place to be.
Well, to be fair, it's a good game, wasn't it? We beat Stoke 4-0. That was the first game in October, wasn't it? Unless I'm much mistaken.
It was on the 2nd of October. It was on a Sunday. And of course, it was Slaven Bilic's first game because the wounds of the passing of Rob Edwards were still very, very raw. And everybody wondered quite how it would go. And it went rather well, really.
Did you go to that one, Carl? Did you go to Stoke?
I did. Yeah, I was at Stoke. Yeah, an excellent day out, must admit. Coming out of that game afterwards, I thought, here we go. We are well on our way to something special. But as we'll touch on, that didn't last very long.
Yes, you see, it was a bit of a month of contrasts, wasn't it? Yeah. So yes, that was a good game, wasn't it? I'm struggling to remember who scored in that game now because there's been so many since. Who scored in that game, Peter?
The first goal, which was scored in the first half, was by Ismail Assar. But it came from the fact that we'd suddenly switched to, or rather, should we say, successfully switched to a back four, suddenly moving into a 4-2-3-1. And Kamara was switched across to the left-hand side. Who knew that such a thing could be a positive for the club? And he got forward an awful lot and put in a great ball. And Ismail Assar made a darting diagonal run, got a header over, and it made it 1-0 to us. And if you recall, the second half, the rest of the first half played out pretty well. We were okay. We have to say Stoke were shite with bells on. Sorry, Stoke City fans, but it wasn't one of your better performances, I can tell you. But the real moment of the game, I think, and Carl was there, other than anybody with a Pozzo out banner not being able to get said Pozzo out banner into the Britannia or whatever it's called now, Bet361 or whatever it was the fact that on 60 minutes on came Imran Louza and really affected the game for a positive. Carl, what do you remember about his reintroduction after injury?
Yeah, just controlling the game. You could see straight away what we were missing. You know, somebody who had that creative spark in midfield, and he just took the ball by the horns and charged us through to that result. But yeah, stunning performance from him.
The most Ken Sema of all Ken Sema goals, i.e. an opportunity saved and then scruffily, determinedly scuffed in on 64 minutes. Davis got an absolute... Dave Davis, I think we really started to see the best of Davis that day. Got another one with his left foot. And then finally, in the 84th minute, somebody else scored a goal. Now, I can't remember who that was. Let me think. Vakun...
Yeah.
Coon.
Bio, is it?
Bio, that was the man.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
My mate.
The Crow.
We wouldn't want to fall under your sword again by bad mouthing him, obviously, Carl.
No. He pops up when he needs to. We've needed him a few times this month, but that day at Stoke, he got one for us. So yeah, I was very pleased, as you both know.
Yes. Yeah. The smugness is still smouldering. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
We then turned. I mean, basically, Slaven Bilic's honeymoon lasted precisely one Sunday afternoon in Stoke.
Yes, because I flew home on the Wednesday and I rushed to get back to Vicarage Road, and I was treated to a piss poor match that had 17 minutes of added on time.
You were treated though, because we got an invite from a friend of ours to come and sit right near the director's box. So we had a different view for that game.
This is true. Yes, we did. We sat with Wendover Horn for that match. However, that match I've got no fond memories of at all, really.
There was a good first half goal. We went in 1-0 up at the second half, and there was a great run from Davis, which opened up an opportunity for the ball to be played in, and almost like an underlapping run by Sema, crossed it across, and Sarr got his second in 2 games. And other than that, really, I think Swansea basically did a classic away job on us, especially with Matt Grimes sitting in front of the back four. They just basically kept it and passed it, kept it and moved it. And the second half we didn't show up at all. They got one back shortly after the second half, and then finally got a goal in the 8th minute. You're a big fan of extra minutes after the 90 minutes, as we know.
Yeah, I love that.
As we know, scheduled tweets. So
yeah,
it was a sickener. But I think everybody who saw that game could see it coming, because we had this whole Jekyll and Hyde thing. Are we going to turn up? Are we going to get the Stoke Watford, or are we going to get the Hodgson style Watford, where nobody seems to have any life to them? Passes are constantly going astray. There was absolutely no fluidity to the interplay at all, and it was deeply frustrating. And I thought personally, Swansea actually looked like one of the better teams, because they made us look poor, but we also helped quite a bit.
Yeah, and also the communication between the ref and the other officials was a big sort of player in all of that, wasn't it? Because there seemed to be a pause for what seemed like forever, and everyone's sort of going, what's that all about then?
You've got a flag and a whistle, I seem to recall.
You've got a flag and a whistle. Was there not also a penalty shout or a goal that could have stood or something, but because we didn't have goal line technology, the ball didn't go fully over the line, did it? If I remember rightly, but
right at the end, we thought it was that. By all accounts, it wasn't that. There was claim for a push. But I mean, when we say they scored it in the 90th +7, that game went to 90 minutes +17 minutes because of the referee just deciding, because his walkie-talkie wasn't working, he should simply stop everybody watching a football match until the referee, and whoever did it, very, very good, pointed out he did indeed have all the equipment that they fucking well needed, which was a flag and a whistle.
Yeah, it always used to work in the old days, didn't it?
Yeah, it never went wrong.
Walkie-talkies and all that stuff. So, yeah, that was
if that wasn't bad enough, we then go to Blackpool. Well, I go to Blackpool.
Yeah, you went to Blackpool.
That for me was like going to a really expensive restaurant, getting the meal that you wanted, and the waiter sneezing on it, because the whole day... The whole footballing day was fucking ruined by Blackpool turning up and making us again look absolutely shocking. We were terrible that day.
We were absolutely appalling. Yeah, it was rubbish. In fact, I think I remember saying to you, Peter, shall we do a space at half time?
Yes.
You know it's bad if Justin says space at half time. Space at half time.
The problem is, you say that. I am old enough to remember the 3-0 down with 20 minutes to go, and we win 4-3 in 1994 against Bolton. And for some reason, anytime we're absolutely shite score to 0, I always think, this might be one of those again. We wouldn't want to go too soon, but obviously I'm completely bonkers. That's not what happened. Yeah. The first 10 minutes, or after 10 minutes, I should say, a ball was kind of there was a header that Kamara went for. He didn't win it. It got headed on, and it was basically just between, from memory, I think it was Cathcart and Troost-Ekong at the time, although more defensive movement about. Cabaselli, sorry. And they just kind of went, is he yours? Is he mine? Is he yours? Is he mine? It was a real, a full-on Chuckle Brother moment in every sense. Backman sort of came, but sort of didn't, and he just kind of like scooped over. And it was one of these, how could we concede a goal that shit and that slow? But we managed. And then he, as you say, it got still worse, because one of our players who wasn't going to last many more games got an absolute peach of an equaliser.
It was a beautiful goal. Beautiful goal.
Imran,
nothing was working as a team, so it needed an individual moment of brilliance, and it was a superb free kick, the kind of thing that he was doing on a regular basis when he was playing at Nantes, and it was a superb ball right into. Well, not the postage stamp, because that would be the other side, but you get it, right into the quadrant on the left-hand side. But then the second half came along, and then we had a number of injuries, and a number of people kind of moved out to various places. We'd substituted Dan Gosling and moved Cabaselli out to the wide right. Now, we'd already basically stopped any pretense of playing any football. And then they brought on a lad, I can't remember his name, I think his name was it Abrahams? I can't remember now. Hamilton, sorry, who came on and decided he was going to try and run past Cabaselli, and Cabaselli went, "Go on then,
off you go."
having been moved out to the right side, he didn't make an effort, and he did look at the time. I thought, he must have pulled up with a hamstring, because he's just let him run. But he didn't do what every player would do, which is basically kind of your hand goes to your hamstring. Yeah.
Hold
to go,
it.
oh, Jesus, it's like a gunshot kind of thing. And it's and he didn't do anything. And then they substituted Sierralta off and moved Cabaselli back inside. Horse bolted, perhaps, just saying.
Yeah.
And he carried on for the rest of the game, but then was dropped out of subsequent games. Before that, of course, we then had another goal conceded when I think it was Yates again, the same player, ran at Troost-Ekong, who scurried backwards, turned his back twice, which is inexplicable. The one thing you do not do as a defender is turn your back on your player, because you know he's going to twist you. And the moment he's done it once, guess where he's going again? Oh, he's twisted you again, and then it was in the back of the net. Yeah, Blackpool, not good, with the exception of, I would suggest, Colin and indeed Taylor, who, if you haven't seen the TikTok, we're going to put a link in the description down here. Definitely link in the comments.
My name is Colin. This is my first drink. My name is Colin, and this is pint 99. Pint 9?
It's 9. It's 9.
Pint 9.
Yeah.
My name is Colin. This is my final point. It's the 11th point. I've had enough.
TikTok famous, the pair of them.
Yeah, that Jerry Yates is obviously catching the eye of other clubs, and there has been rumours that we've been looking at him, but I wouldn't think he was the sort of player that we would normally go for under our sort of recruitment model. But I've been asked by Football League World, can you comment on the speculation that Jerry Yates is in Watford's sights? And I was like, I've not heard this, but apparently, yeah, they're looking at him. So he looked like a good player, to be honest. He's ripping up.
He did really well. Looks a right handful. And I completely agree with what you just said there. I think from our transfer point of view and how we operate, it seems unlikely that we would go for that type of player. But from a fan's point of view, he's exactly what we need. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, they'd also taken off a lad called Corbiano, who'd given us an absolute running down one side.
Yeah.
And he's chalked up some pretty good numbers in terms of statistics for Blackpool. And he got taken off. So we thought, they're just going to basically sit and take what they've got. No.
Let's not forget that I also upset the population of Blackpool by calling them a League One side.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah. They were happy about that. They liked that.
Yeah.
But what I meant by that, and I've already justified this, that, in terms of budget and where they've come from, I know they were a Premier League side, not oblivious to that, but in terms of their setup and what they have, it's a League One setup. It's a compliment, a backhanded one. I agree, but a compliment nonetheless.
If you have to explain a backhanded compliment, then it isn't one. It's probably more in insult territory. I'm just saying.
No. I don't insult anyone. You know that.
Well, but the other thing with Blackpool is they were a Premier League side in 2011. They have since gone all the way through 3 relegations, all the way down to the bottom tier, and then come back twice. Two leagues up. So, quite what level they are, Christ alone knows. But they are significantly lower, exactly as you say, on budget and resource. And we went there and turned up thinking that all we had to do was turn up and we'll get the points. And we had our arses right royally handed to us on a plate. So we were in a very bad mood. The following week. Not only was the game being played at 7:45 on a Saturday night.
Oh, I've forgotten the Norwich game.
Oh,
right.
Wasn't it 8:00 on a Saturday night?
No, it was 7:45.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was 8:00.
Whatever time it was ridiculously late. It was a ridiculous time to be playing football on a Saturday night.
It was 7:45. You are correct.
There you go. So, but the really important thing was we just had 2 games where the team and the performances simply hadn't turned up. And the question was Slaven Bilic's manager bounce very, very low indeed? Or would we see something better? The answer, we saw something better.
Yeah.
I mean, again, loser got the goal, having missed a penalty shortly beforehand. The old penalty, the old penalty demon strike again. But he kind of stayed on point. And Sarr was switched across to the left-hand side, and Sema was switched across to the right-hand side. So suddenly it feels like Slaven Bilic is starting to have some of his ideas. If you remember, because we'd had that Stoke game on the Sunday, Swansea in midweek, and then the Blackpool game, really Bilic had no time at all on the training ground. Suddenly he'd had 4 or 5 days to do something. We saw the switching of the of Sarr and Sema, and it really seemed to work very well. It brought a lot better stuff out of Sarr, whose instinct is to sometimes cut in. He used to do this at when he was at Stade Rennes. He also did it with the Senegalese team. And of course, if you think about it, when we play this 4-2-3-1, if he cuts in, it creates the space. It pulls the space open for Kamara to bomb on forward as well. So that's something that we're seeing. It's been a bit hit and miss, and we know that Ismaila Sarr, once he's on the road, he can be very flaky indeed. He still hasn't kind of pulled up any trees, but at Vicarage Road on that left-hand side, combining with Kamara, looking okay. So he put a ball in, Loser got it and guided it into the net, and then we had another ball which was played across, and Davis made no doubts about it, and we thought we were going to get to half time with it 2-0. But the person who looks least like a footballer than anyone, even me, and I'm 84 stone, Sargent, the ginger American, always bloody scores against us after that strange scorpion kick thing that he did the other week. I still don't believe he intended it.
He looks like he should work in a coffee shop. That's how I'd describe it.
That's very good. I like that. I don't know why. I don't know why he just doesn't look like a footballer, but he's on fire, and it was a great finish. But I think there were some questions as to whether or not Danny Backman could have got across quick enough. But anyway, all to no avail. We played reasonably well in the second half. We managed to see it out and get a 2-1 win. So all is right. All is going well. We've finally turned it around. We've seen Bilic do something really, really good. So how was Millwall then, Carl?
Fucking awful. It was the absolute pits.
Which minute did you leave on? Which minute did you?
70th minute I left.
70th minute.
Blackpool was bad, but at least I had a hotel in Blackpool and there was lots of cheap booze up there. But being in the deepest, darkest of South London, it was not a place you want to be going out on the razzmatazz. So off home I went after watching. Well, I don't even know what I watched, to be honest with you. It was lethargic. It was just awful, just dreadful.
Yeah. I don't
nothing positive to say about that game. Nothing at all.
Matty Pollock had a shocker, didn't he, in that match, to be honest?
Matty Pollock was wearing a 50... I don't know what shape his hat was that he was wearing, but the balls were bouncing everywhere.
Are you calling him Mr. 50p head? I think
I was going to call him Mr. 50p head, but I'm obviously concerned not to upset anybody that has a head shaped like a 50p.
Oh, well, I'm good to see... I'm very good to see this new grown sensitivity that Carl's
I don't know what something come over me today, and I thought, you know what, Carl, you can't go the rest of your life keep upsetting people, for no reason.
Really? We'll see how that lasts next time you're in the Northwest. Yeah.
I was going to say there's somebody up in Blackpool called Mr. 50p Head, and he was just going, bastard.
What a bastard.
So it was in about the 10th minute, wasn't it, where there's a ball being launched up. We know what Millwall are going to do, and all power to them, because they did it extremely well. It's not a negative, but they will play it directly. They will go forward, and a ball was played from the kind of the centre position towards it was almost getting towards Dan Gosling's area, where all Pollock needed to do was get his massive forehead on it and steer it away. And somehow
it is massive.
He's got
makes mine look small. Yeah, it makes mine look small.
It's a big one.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's I
could sell mine for advertising space, and it's still smaller than Matty Pollock's.
He managed to guide it inside. It was like the perfect flick on header for no reason. And Bradshaw, who went on to get 3 goals, stuck the ball away very nicely with the outside of his right foot into the far post, but Danny Backman's positioning was, I mean, he was making sure he wasn't going to get beaten at the near post. That's for sure as mustard. But he left the far post a little bit, bearing in mind the ball was curving away from him. A better position, perhaps he might have done something. But as it was, by half an hour in, they're 3-0 up. Bradshaw's got a hat trick, and the Den is a very difficult place to go. It's an extremely difficult place to go when they're 3-0 up, and the place is, okay, it might be half filled, but it's still rocking. So
it's rocking, yeah. I was really impressed with that Bradshaw, by the way. I think he needs a special mention. I thought he did a right job on us, caused us havoc all evening, should I say? But yeah, really impressed with him.
I think Millwall deserve a shout because they again habitually. I mean, we've had the preview shows, and everybody who we've had on, everybody who's turned up has been great. But the level of performance that they've got year after year, the positioning they've got in the league year after year, bearing in mind again, like Blackpool, the level of budget that they're working with is amazing. It's amazing. They are doing so well, and they've got players like Jake Cooper, who they brought through the ranks. We've talked on occasions about a lack of identity with this team and a lack of connection to the community. For all of the bad bits about Millwall, and let's be honest, there are those are real.
Yeah.
They're a proper community club who are punching above their weight. Bless them.
Yeah. So that brings us on to another match then that we were kind of dreading after that result. Because it was against the old enemy, the M1 Derby. So, I mean, listen, we had some fun actually before the game. We had a chat with Justin and with Andy from Three Counties, and we also spoke to a Luton Town podcast guy called Billy. It was fantastic. There was no silliness between us. It was all very respectful and very, very nice. Midday kickoff on a Sunday. Which no one really wants, but under the circumstances, it probably was a wise thing. Who was expecting that result out of all of us? Be honest. I wasn't.
Well, no, not in a million years would I, especially after what I watched at Millwall. Coming into that game, I was dreading it because Luton, to be fair to them, have had a really good season. And again, play a similar style to Millwall, which we've just been hammered by. So that was the big fear for me because it was going to be the same thing again. But listen, whatever happened from the Millwall game up until kick-off against Luton, marvellous. Amen.
We'll take
Beautiful.
it. We'll take it. Yeah. I think it's fair to say that the early goal from Keenan Davis help settle us down, help calm the nerves, get everything
as well.
Everything moving forward. Yeah, sort of overhead, sort of scorpion kick. And again, the inverted wingers seem to be working, and especially with Kamara as well, combining with Sarr, it just seemed to be creating something. We were kind of particularly solid down the right hand side with Sema and Dan Gosling, but down the left we seemed to be ripping them all over the place. And Keenan Davis had a performance that was just monumental. But also a player who hadn't really featured as much as we would have liked had come back, basically into the team with young João Pedro, who has, been in the team for this and the subsequent game. He's a young man who is so creative. There's times when he'll take an extra touch, but he's very young. He's still learning. But he's he's strong as an ox. Suddenly, he's no longer this young kind of whippersnapper of a kind of a Brazilian winger. This kid is. You can see the direction of travel, and it is fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's a physical specimen now, isn't he? He's really filled out and starting to grow.
Yeah,
it was lovely to see.
I think it was Bilic that said he hasn't got a bit of everything. He's got a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, what you want to hear, really, because I think he's been outstanding this season, Pedro. And I God, he could have been playing for Newcastle now if things had gone differently. He's still with us, which is great, it was an all-round decent performance, I thought, against Luton. I thought, there wasn't any of them that played badly, or there's nothing I can report back that I thought we could improve. You've just beaten your rivals 4-0. There's not a lot you can sort of pick out from that as being bad. But I think the concern was the next match and whether we could actually continue that on. So with the Wigan match, which I only saw half of, so I can't really say too much about it. But those that saw it, what did you think of the Wigan match?
Well, I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't venture up to the northwest of the country again. You know, for my own safety,
You're banned,
more than anything,
aren't you?
Yeah. More than anything.
Yeah.
But I thought, honestly and truthfully, I thought we were rubbish. I thought performance-wise, we weren't good. I didn't, you know, we started slowly. We were lethargic in places. You know, it sometimes probably relying on our goalkeeper a little bit. But at the end of it, we've got a result. And I think sometimes when you look back at the season, it will be whatever happens to Watford this season. It will be games like this where we've picked up those 3 points and not played well that might make or break our season. And this won't be the game that you remember. It will be Luton for sure, or something else in the future. But I don't think it's how I put this is. Don't underestimate this result, because I actually think it's probably a bigger result than it seems.
I think you're right.
So absolutely. I mean, last time we went up, what, 2019-20 or 2020-21? I can never recall nowadays.
Because it happens so often, Peter. That's why.
Yeah,
us Watford supporters, we're so used to it.
Well, it might do at the moment, yo-yoing like nobody's business. But for example, there was that game where we played away at Birmingham, and it was a nothing game, and Steve Paparica won a penalty. And we won it 1-0. Well, those 3 points were as important as any other 3 points in that particular season. It doesn't really matter about the glamour. At the end of the day, the table simply counts up your accumulation of matches performed in and won. I think the interesting thing with the Wigan game was we didn't have Keenan Davis. And what we'd seen over some games was, yes, he's playing himself back to some kind of fitness. And I don't think he's lasted a 90 minutes yet. But you know, the fact that he hadn't had a proper pre-season because he'd been with Notts Forest, because he wasn't really included in Aston Villa, we can see that what we're getting here is really starting to be quite awesome. He wasn't available, and therefore your favourite player, Bio, played, but he didn't offer us the same sort of things. He does do something for us as a super sub. I think Bio is tremendous, really do. But what Keenan Davis does is allow you to hold the ball and let the team join and move up and retain the ball, and then, you know, he can kind of combine. And he brings in players like Sarr. Sarr was incredibly quiet and hasn't been consistent away from home. You know, that's absolutely fair to say. But he's got a far better chance if he's playing off of Keenan Davis, looking to cut in and bounce the ball off of Keenan Davis. Same thing with Sema on the other side. So I think we suffered from that. The strange thing was, if you look at the number of shots we had 13 shots, but only 2 on target. So, you know, it was one of those games where if for the final ball, it could have gone a lot better. It could have been, you know, 1 or 2 moments could have made it a comfortable win. As it was, we know it wasn't. And what actually happened was, and this is the most encouraging thing for me for the Wigan game, was Slaven Bilic made 2 changes. He brought on Kalu. Kalu's alive, as I enjoy saying. He brought on Kalu, and in the post-match, he told him not to cross. He told him, run, get into the box and see what you can get. Because all the time we're crossing, they're just set up to head the ball away. And we're not seemingly doing very well. And then after that substitution, he brought on Asprilla. Kalu makes that jinking little run into the box, exactly as described. The ball goes out for a free kick, but Kalu takes a bit of a knock, so he's kind of he's not able to take the corner kick himself. Asprilla takes it. The ball is defended exactly as he mentioned beforehand. They were set up to do that, but he takes a touch and puts the ball back into the far post. And young João Pedro, I'm probably going to still be calling him young João Pedro when he's 34, but he scores the kind of header that he did against Newcastle last year, where he just gets in front. He just gets in front of his defender. It's not about trying to win it higher. It's about get to the ball earlier, cut in front of him, and you know, for all of those for all those supporters who went up to Wigan, coming back, that would have felt as good as 4-0 versus Luton. because they'd gone an awful long way. It was an awful game, but it was one of those where different qualities, desire, gumption, drive, going to the end, and just stickability, staying in there, making sure that you're not giving something stupid away. Final point I'll make, and he wasn't perfect by any means, but in this game and in the Luton game, Troost-Ekong is starting to do all right. There are a couple of times where we didn't get punished, but he completely lost his man. He got away with it. But if he can get his concentration going, he's fingers crossed, he can play his way into some kind of form. We shall see.
No, I agree. Just on a very quick note before we move on, do you think Bilic is now starting to understand his squad in terms of substitutions and how to affect games? Because I think previous and the way that we obviously go through managers like I go through undercrackers, it's very it's difficult for them to probably understand and fully appreciate what they've got. But I just feel over the last couple of games, the substitutions he's made have actually made a difference to the game, especially at Wigan.
Well, I think he has. I think he does start to understand his squad as well. The trouble is these injuries. He's never going to
horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Horrendous.
I don't think he's ever going to quite know what his first strength team is, because
he must walk into that the room where they're all recovering and being looked after and go, sorry, we haven't met, but yes, I'm the new manager.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or not you in here again, or whatever. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I was just looking ahead to the Cardiff game, and there's another round of injury. I think Kalou's injured, isn't he? And
he picked a knock up, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh dear, it is kind of make do and mend, I think, a lot of the time with our squad. But I think he's starting to see what he's got and know what he's got. And I think his substitutions to start with were a bit baffling. Blackpool.
Yeah, that's the one that sticks with me. Yeah,
but I think he is starting to understand the squad more. And 2 clean sheets and back-to-back wins would suggest that he's doing something right. But you've got to carry that on, really. You've got to be consistent. That's the thing, really, that we've struggled with. Consistency under Bilic, funnily enough, because we were in a bit of a win-lose pattern for a while, and we've sort of broken that now. I'm quietly confident that November's going to be good, but it's Watford, isn't it? Who knows?
I think the paucity of the squad is something of a concern, along with the injuries, but also suspension. So, for example, in this month, Imran Louza has basically gone and got himself injured, which is a huge issue because he was hugely creative and hugely influential. Things have improved, as we've said, under Slaven Bilic, but having him back in there would give us another opportunity. Hopefully the World Cup break will give him some level and chance of recovering, which would be really good. As we go into the Cardiff game tomorrow night, Hamza Chowdhury is out with a suspension, just a one-game suspension for his 5th yellow, which he picked up against Wigan. So the paucity in midfield, especially, is going to be very worrying. Bearing in mind one of our midfielders is busy covering the right back slot, so we'll see whether or not we end up with Gasper the Friendly Ghost coming into right back and Dan Gosling pushing back again once into midfield to cover up for the lack of bodies there. So we'll see. And I think in terms of the going back to that question about Bilic's substitutions, we've got all of these injured centre-backs. We've got no right-backs to really speak of. All he's really got is forwards, and with the greatest respect to Pollock, players who are untrusted. So he's almost now having to make attack-minded substitutions, but he's done enough, especially in the Wigan game, to keep us in the game, so that an attacking substitution ends up getting us 3 points. And if he does that, and if he does it once and he does it again and it doesn't work, we don't mind. We've already won 3 points out of this. If he rolls the dice and it doesn't work again, we've got to go, fair enough, he tried. We'll see what happens. But he's rolled the dice and it's worked really well. Poor old, as you say, poor old Kalou. Kalou's alive, but apparently injured.
He's alive, but broken.
Broken, yes. Kalou. I don't think I can shout Kalou's broken. That's just not going to work. But it's a good thing. But we are really so stretched. Ideally, one of the things this month that has come to the fore, and we'll be talking more about it as things become more apparent and more clear, is the potential for a buyout or very heavy investment in Udinese and a 10% buyout of Watford in some way, shape, or form, or a 10% purchase of shares in Watford, which you hope would be in a position to help in January when the transfer window opens up, fill some of these spaces, because we are propping up dead bodies on the Alamo wall. Other metaphors are available.
That's a metaphor for you.
He's really down to the bare bones, and for us to now be back up to 7th, I have to say, fair play to Bilic. It's been a real roller coaster, or up and down, whatever kind of metaphor you want, of a month. It's ending well. We've got 4 games that if we can go unbeaten, I'd say unbeaten would be really nice, because it really gives you a drive when we pick up back in December. And we get some planning as to, and it doesn't have to be millions, it's just a couple, 2 or 3 players here or there. That would really, really help. Just bolster this squad a little bit. That's what's needed.
So, as we record, it is the 1st of November today, obviously, because we're doing an October review. End of the season, where are we going to be? Are we going to be promoted, top 6 playoffs, mid-table, or worse off than that?
I can say for sure it's definitely going to be one of those.
Yes.
Okay. Would you stick your neck out further and pick one, perhaps? Or...
dislike this question a lot.
Well, I think it's important. So, start with you, Peter.
Excellent. Start with you, Peter.
I'll stick my chins out, shall I? Okay. All right. I think we will be top 6, potentially getting into the top 2, but that necessitates a couple of things. One of the top 2 to start having a wobble, because I think they look relatively strong, potentially. And we have to get on a run. We have to have that consistency. Remember what happened last time we got up? It was Boxing Day was Cisco's first game.
Yeah.
And he
Norwich.
took 2 or 3 games, and then we got the Coventry game, and suddenly we went on something like 16 games where we won 15 of them. We need to see the consistency, and at the moment we haven't got the fitness. The last Twitter spaces we were talking about the walking into the physio room. We haven't got the fitness in the legs, and therefore you need to have more players in the squad, and we've lost a lot of players from that squad this last summer. Those things have to happen. If so, we can definitely get playoffs. I don't want playoffs. I want to go up automatically if we possibly can. The other flip side, I'm really enjoying the Championship. If we stay down, I wouldn't personally care. It's only the finances that need us to go back up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Carlos?
Yeah, I'll be surprised if we get in the playoffs.
Worse than the playoffs, you think?
Yeah, I'll be surprised if we get in the playoffs. I just feel that with our consistency, which we keep mentioning, the ongoing saga with our transfers, you've just touched on it there. There's obviously stuff going on in the background. You don't know what effect that will have. Hopefully a positive one. I also believe that the World Cup coming around isn't just a good thing for Watford. It isn't just a good chance for Watford to get their players back. It also affects every other club in the division who have also got similar situations to us. So I just feel that this season is so unique because of that we may not be, I think we'll be in the mix for the playoffs, definitely. But I can't see us. I generally can't see us get. And as Peter said, I don't want the playoffs because it makes me a nervous wreck. My beard is as grey as it can get. I can't. It will start going on top soon.
Can I ask a question about the beard?
No, you can't, Peter. No,
is there some colouring going on there?
No, it's not. I think it's the light. It's definitely grey still.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Grecian 2000, if you wish to offer oh my god, Grecian 2000, that dates me, doesn't it? That's not good.
Yeah.
What about just for men these days?
Yeah. The 1970s just called, Peter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be really, really surprised if we get into the top 2, and that's where we need to be if we were going to go up. Because and as Peter said, financially it's a nightmare for us, but I'm enjoying the football in the Championship, so I've got no problem staying.
I'll tell you why we're going to get playoffs, or at least playoffs.
Go on.
Nobody else has a forward line to compare to us. We're going through injury after injury after injury. If for a period we can get
a window coming up in January.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was just going to say. So I'm gonna sit here and eat my muffin and let you crack on.
So enjoy your muffin. So Keenan Davis, right? If we could bring in, or even if Manai turns out to be a pocket Keenan Davis and able to kind of play that front role, which he sort of did reasonably well against QPR for about the first 16 minutes before he broke as well. You have
Sema, biscuits, that man.
Sema is a tidy player in the Championship.
Yes,
and undervalued, underappreciated, and just underloved, and sending the love to Ken Sema. Yao Pedro, if we can get Loser back in, and if Ismail Assar only performs at home, he is going to be worth it. Go and set up slightly differently. Drop him if we're away, if that's what he's going to be doing, away from home, and save him for the home games. I don't care. But get that going. He's also going to have a wonderful World Cup for anybody to really weigh in and buy Ismail Assar for the money that we will be prepared to sell him for. I believe, and I think there are players that we could go and get who would supplement the rest. If you have 5 of that 6 or 4 of that 5 available, we have got more firepower than anybody else in this division. Are we a better team? By no means. Absolutely not. Do we need to really kind of see the identity? Absolutely. Could we do with having a mini pre-season in the middle of November? Damn fucking right we do, and we've got one.
Yeah.
That's why we're going to make it.
Wow, okay. Very cool.
Bloody hell, Peter, I'm sold.
I think
Justin,
I've changed my mind.
Well,
I've changed my mind.
I think I'd ask you.
It's all right. Don't worry. His beard is turning grey again. He's agreeing with me.
I think if I'd asked you this during the middle of the month, you'd have gone, "Oh dear, we're going to be lucky to survive relegation." That is how much difference the previous couple of games have made, I think, because after the Millwall game, you'd have gone, "Don't even think about promotion. We're nowhere near promotion." So,
and of course, we're also bringing in Julian Dix, who's going to be available on the subs bench. He may be 54 and look like me, but we're going to basically go, "Oh, we've won a penalty. Go on, Julian, on you go," and he's going to. That's the way forward.
Yeah. No, I think I can see a top 6 finish, but like you, I don't want playoffs because there is the whole. Traditionally, we've done okay in playoffs. I think we've won a couple. We went to Wembley for one, and we sort of only got to the semi-finals in another.
If you give me Luton in the final at Wembley, I'll take it.
I don't want that. Who wants that?
Yeah, let's have that.
Really?
Come on.
You really want?
Yeah, I'll be well up for that.
And then you lose. What then?
Oh, you'd never see me again.
This is my concern.
It'll be you two on this podcast.
Yeah.
I'll be a distant memory.
That is my concern. I mean, I think
the thing I don't like about the playoffs, or actually, really, what I'm saying here is what I don't like about FA Cup semi-finals, FA Cup finals, or playoff finals, is being raped by Wembley over ticket prices. Absolutely abysmal.
Fantastic choice of words there, Peter.
Well, this is the home of football. People, the fans who are paying, an amount. You pay for like 30 to 40% of your season ticket price to go and have an awful bloody view on occasions from, fantastic, brilliant. Does it come with free oxygen? No, it fucking doesn't. Okay, can I see the team from here? Yes, I can. And 45,000 people at the playoff games go back afterwards having spunked a shed load of cash, disappointed. Yeah. Absolutely killing them. It wouldn't be beyond the possibility for the money-loving fuckers at the FA to go and say, this is the people's final. We're going to drop it no more than £45 per ticket. End of. Money-grabbing leeches, the fucking lot of them.
Apparently, I'm the one on the podcast that upsets people. Apparently.
Yeah, but I don't think the FA are
going believe that if you were.
I might take the FA in when you put this out on
YouTube. Yeah. At FA on Twitter. Fuck you. That's what.
Well, as I said to David Bernstein, the former. So no.
Oh, excellent. It's the Roy Hodgson.
You got to go through the old podcast for that one to reference.
Yeah.
Bernstein. Fantastic. Oh, okay. Well, that was October. Honourable mentions to Barry.
Barry.
Who there was just such an outpouring of love for him.
He's a nice guy.
We've had more retweets and likes on that than anything, I think, we've put out this season, and everyone's just like,
if you would like to sponsor Barry.
The general consensus is Barry. Everybody wants to go for a pint with Barry. It was all very nice. Mainly because you told both me and Cole to shut up.
which in my book that's excellent. So well done. Yeah. No, he was quality, Barry. I love that.
And I like the fact that some of our fans then did seek out the bakers to get the Wigan kebab.
Yes, Wigan kebab. Yeah.
So that was really good as well. So that was fantastic.
I want to big up. Oh God, what's his name? The Luton chap as well.
Billy.
Yeah, because that could have gone. You know, if I'd had to sit in front of 3 Luton supporters, I probably wouldn't have felt very comfortable. So, all credit to him as well.
Yeah, there was another Luton podcast that sort of was like, no chance. You think I'm coming on your podcast and being reasonable? You can piss off.
You can piss off, yeah.
Well, okay. I don't know why they're suddenly that north. They're not that far north. But so when we finally found one that went, I'll do it, it was like, okay, that's nice. We'll go easy.
I have to say, your Luton accent is somewhat off, though. That was like Downton Abbey.
It was dreadful, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely dreadful. Cool. Anything else that we want to discuss on this open forum here? Or are we content to
anything, or just what's related?
Anything, really. Well, I don't where it
goes. I've been feeling sad recently, so
I think what we should do. Is there's only 4 games between now and the World Cup. I think we should have a forecast as to how many points we think we will take from the next 4 games. Hold on, let me bring them up.
That always goes so well for me and Justin.
Does, yeah, because
oh boy, doesn't it?
oh boy, whose coat is that jacket?
Who coat is that jacket? So speaking of which, the first game is in Cardiff tomorrow night. Then we face Coventry at home on Saturday. Next Tuesday is the rearranged game again at home against Reading, cancelled obviously because of the Queen's passing over that weekend, and the final game before we head off to kind of well, some of us will be looking at the World Cup, others will be going, actually, you know what, the women are still playing on the 13th and on the 20th. Get along to that. Is Bristol City away? So a bit of a Nigel Pearson loving, I would suspect there.
Probably my tickets turn up this evening. I've got those.
That's very good. So there's 12 potential points. Justin. November, how many points do you see us wrestling away from the rest of the EFL?
Right. Cardiff a draw, I would say. What was the next one before Reading?
Coventry.
Well, we should beat Coventry. They're in a bit of a, mind you, they're on a bit of an upswing at the moment, Coventry.
Listen to him talking himself into a 1-1. Go on.
Yes. That's 2 points. Reading, oh God, they're
say 4 points, Justin. Get on
1-1.
Shall I say 4 points? No, I'm not a potential 12. No. Okay, let's say we're going to get 8 points. I'm going to be.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going for.
8 points, yeah. 2 draws, 2 wins, or whatever other combination brings us 8 points, which I don't think there is one.
Are you now going to pull the rule, Peter, that I can't say the same as Justin?
No. This isn't for the prediction league. No.
I think. Although I've said a win, I think I've said a win on one of our other podcasts against Cardiff. So yeah, we'll go with that.
You did.
Yeah, 3-6. I think we'll draw against Reading, beat Bristol City away. So
10.
Yeah, let's go to 10. Come on.
I was going to go 10. I think so. I think the problem for me is Cardiff City tomorrow. We've got so many injuries that I spoke out about the forward line and how strong we are. Potentially is a very, very big word, but we are really patching and doing and mending all over the rest of the park.
Are you saying we should leave our phones on loud just in case we get a call?
Who knows? But I think if we get a few players back in for next Saturday by Saturday, it's difficult because it's only it's 4 games in 10 days. So how much recovery time we have will really tell.
I really want to beat Coventry because I'm in the posh seats.
Oh yes, of course. You're a bit of a prawn sandwich.
I'm having some prawn sandwiches against Coventry. So yeah, I'd really like a victory on that one.
Yeah. Peter and I are going to be in a community centre talking to Anne. You know, some of us put the
Lucky
bowls in.
I mean, I would swap with you, but unfortunately, it's not. You know, you can't transfer the tickets allegedly.
No,
Did you say Anne Swanson or Anne Widdecombe? Did you say that?
No, I said Anne Swanson.
I hope it's Anne Widdecombe.
Did I say Anne Widdecombe?
I think you may have said Anne Widdecombe.
I think you did.
In which case, Anne Swanson will sue, and I'll be a witness.
I hope Anne Widdecombe. I hope Anne Widdecombe turns up.
No, did I say Anne Widdecombe? Fuck.
Doesn't matter what your political allegiance is. Anne Widdecombe is batshit crazy in any.
Yeah.
You know what?
There you
I
go.
wouldn't mind half an hour with Anne Widdecombe just realise I'm normal.
What?
Yeah. Wait, this isn't the place for sharing that sort of.
No. Good God, no.
We're not sponsored by Manscaped anymore. There's no need for that kind of talk.
Yes. Did I say Anne Widdecombe? Did I say Anne Widdecombe? Did I say Anne Swanson?
I hope you said Anne Widdecombe.
Oh God. Okay.
I hope you did.
All right. Well, no, we're in.
Peter's convinced me you have, so I'm going with it.
It doesn't really matter. You're now convinced you may have done, and that'll do us.
And that's weird. That's that thing, isn't it? That's that thing where like, they train the police and they send someone out of the room and everyone lies. And do you lie or do you tell the truth? I think that's what's happened there. I've been hoodwinked. Anyway, we're going.
This never happens on From the Rookery End. John never turns around to Mike and says, Peter. "Mike, did you just say you would rut with Anne Widdecombe for half an hour?" And I'm just saying, John, new direction to go in.
To be fair, I didn't say that either.
I mean, you sort of did. I was talking
about having a chat and a cup of tea or something. Nothing like that. Okay, so Peter and I will be in a community centre talking to Anne Swanson while you're in the executive lounge, having your cheese and wine. For Coventry, I'll tell you, I think we'd be all right against Coventry actually, but they're on a bit of an upswing. They are.
Their stadium situation is bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was reading about it today. Oh, what an odd situation that is. Oh, I feel sorry for the fans. Actually, I will say that I feel sorry for the Coventry City fans.
Load of games in hand, or are they caught up now? Well, because they're all
they've got a few, but I know they were looking at potentially it could end up being a points deduction, but they might have to ask Northampton Town again to go back to Sixfields. So I don't. It's a right complicated thing. It's been like that for years though, because they've only just got back in there this season. So it's a real. I know that famous phrase is always somebody worse off than you. I mean, Coventry City fans, take a bow.
Yeah, they've crawled their way up to 22nd from 24th, which they were, and they have caught up. They've played 16 games. We played 17, so they really have caught up quite well. Out of the last 5, they'd won the first 3 of the last 5, but they drew, and then they lost the other night, or the other day. So fingers crossed, we can put another L on the end of their particular scoreline.
Absolutely. Right, there you go. That was Watford during October 2022. A long month and a lot of games. But yes, we got out of it at the end fairly well. So, yeah, we haven't drawn under Slav either, have we? So,
no, he's very binary. It's either a win-loss or a win or a loss. But,
yeah,
we need to see. I think we just need to see some consistent performances, and the rest of it will look after itself. Every time we've lost, we just have not turned up. I can't think of a game where we've gone, we were unlucky to lose that this season. We've basically had games where we've gone, okay, we won that, but we kind of outplayed them. We haven't had any where we felt sorry for ourselves. We either don't turn up at all, or we're there and we're doing the business. He's just got to make sure we're there more often. I get a feeling he's moving towards that. We're seeing more determination. We're seeing more energy. We're seeing more work rate. The only problem is we're also seeing more injuries.
True. Right. Let's hope November's a good month then. Thank you very much for watching. It's been lovely having your company once again. Look out for the spaces. Make sure you subscribe and do all that lovely stuff on YouTube. That'd be good. We are on TikTok as well, and we're everywhere. So wherever you can find social media, we're probably there. Give us a like and a follow.
We're omnipotent and omnipresent. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Wayne Lowther's going, no, you're not. No, you're not. There's only one God.
Very true. And some nice things hopefully coming up in the next couple of months as well. Hopefully some things that will be a bit different and quite exciting. So look out for those as well. In the meantime, you ons.
You ons.